Hello fans of Marvel Heroes and friends of my channel, welcome to this mini-series of Let's Play Carnage. And if you've been following my mini-series for quite some time, a big thank you to you. I've leveled up Carnage from low level to 60 through the story mode, so I hope you get some tips on how to get your XP and so on. And if you need to level up a bit more because you finished the story and can't really get to level 60 yet because you don't have the enough hero synergy like some of the veterans, you can always do some legendary quests and share quests along the way. Anyway, you will need to farm that the 700 OD marks or 1400 OD marks depending on your aspiration. So now that was part 1 of the series, and part 2 of the series I've demonstrated to you how to farm your slot items through the danger room to just quickly level up your get all your gears. Now all my gear here is not really that fantastic yet, but it's good enough to start with the next journey, which is on the Cosmic Trial. Now why do I do that? Because after you pass the Cosmic Trial, you get access to Cosmic Petrol. In the Cosmic Petrol, you will be able to get better items, like for your, say for example, like the Catalyst, you will get a better version of it with some very nice affixes to it that's very specific to the Cosmic version. Also, you will start to have access to better boss artifacts that may drop. So you may use something mid-tier first, and then when you go into the Cosmic side of it, then you can sort of Cosmic Petrol and get more of these possible drops. And last but not the least, it's a lot of XP there, so it's helping you on your Infinity system. However much you have in the Infinity system, and also it help you to level up your legendary. If you are using a grade 80 legendary, you have to start leveling up from beginning again. So that's the reason why it's good to pass the Cosmic Trial to get into the Cosmic Petrol. Now, where are all the things that we have here? Now, the Cosmic Petrol is the one that is here. After you've unlocked the trial, you'll be able to perform the to do the Cosmic Petrol, and I'm just going to do that. And also, part 1 of this video, I'm going to give some tips on how to tackle the Cosmic kind of like a trial. And the part 2 of it, I think one of you asked me in the YouTube channel what's my thought on the team up as well as gearing. So I'm going to spend some time on that. I'll put some time codes at the description of the video just in case you would like to jump around and say I've seen Carnage, so I would like to hear more about team up. Feel free to do so. Alright, now my Carnage is very average gear. All these are very generic stuff. If you've been playing this game for quite some time, you may have got better gear than I am. And besides, I don't really have all the unique item, as you have seen earlier on. Not really a fantastic ring and so on, and definitely not great rank 5. So whatever you see, the timing wise is not going to be fantastic, but that's not the point. The point is just to pass the trial and without dying inside. So that is an important point to note. So I'm using one of my team up that I trusted the most, which is a Deadpool team up. I'll talk a little bit about what team up to bring to what scenario in just a bit, but I'm just going to try to pass the trial, and let's hope I'll get it done. Alright, so trial begin for minute 54 and stuff like that. So you need to get to the position, and there are mobs that need to destroy. So getting a right build is also quite important for Carnage, or for any heroes in general. You would like to get a build that is rather good in clearing stuff and have a little bit of mobility as well, because things tend to spread out quite fast, and the oh, I missed. So some of this you can just pop a signature, and for Carnage it's rather okay. He's a good mix between the single target area, because usually for melee hero a little bit poor in terms of the area damage, but he is a bit of movement, a bit of everything. So it's nice. I can clear off everything before the next wave, and that's good news. Let's see what's going to happen to over here. But Deadpool does his crowd control thing. That's very nice of him. And let's just rush to the other side and see. Ooh. So as you can see, I'm struggling a little bit on the area part, so I'm trying to spread the thing across a little bit, and try to do I know some of them is like a pure Carnage is an area power, so I'm trying to do a little bit of That Hellbuster is the one that usually hit rather hard, so if you have any signature or whatnot, then you pop it by. It's a bit unfortunate that three of them are being spread up, otherwise it's rather should be rather straightforward. Just be careful with a big kind of damage that usually this Hellbuster would do. And Madam Hydra will tend to do things like the bullet thingy, so just try to get it sorted. Try not to get shot by the bullet too many times. But if your hero is tanky enough, you can just tank and spam and try to get it done. If you are a range hero, you could actually get behind Madam Hydra to get it done. Now, I am saving my signature later on because he will spawn a bodyguard in just a bit. I don't know whether he will or not. She will or not. Yep, so the bodyguard come, you try to kill this guy fast enough, and while avoiding the bullets, well done, Deadpool. So I'm rather optimistic about this outfit because I don't really have a lot of nice gear, but yet I think I should be able to do it. I think it's better than my Black Bolt kind of like a timing wise. Right, so that is done, part one of it. You have some loot here and there. Nothing to shout about. The next part is on the Red Skull. Same thing, you try to destroy everything in one shot. There's a lot of bullets flying around, and alright, so this is the area damage. And by the way, so you know your power a bit. You know what to bring along and what to do. A lot of times when it comes to Cosmic Trial, it's about the build that you have. If you've got a nice build, usually it's not that hard to get it sorted. That's why some of you are supporting my channel, because you find my build is rather easy to execute, not require a lot of like great gear and stuff like that, and yet it's fun to play. So usually I design my build in that philosophy. Just general, it's nice. You don't have to I don't test it too much through a dummy, because I think a lot of guys out there or a lot of people out there are very obsessed with the timing of the dummy. But I always say the dummy is not really a real scenario. Real scenario is like that. Things are just spread around. You have to do some area damage, a bit of mobility, a bit of things that you can execute, just a little bit of everything. So that is usually the case. Just be prepared to walk around a bit. If your hero has some kind of like power to do things like the a bit of power to do a damage over time, just spread some damage over time, that would be rather useful. I'm almost, this wave is a little bit harder, you get target a little bit, so make sure that, you see, this thing is a little bit hard right now, it's doing a lot of damage on me, and Red Skull is coming up very soon, so I am going to just get this down. Don't get the bullet by Red Skull, and should be fine. And you can do ultimates as well. That should bring him down for quite a fair bit, and the Sentinel will come and try not to get hit by Sentinel. That's about it. So that Sentinel will come and avoid the bullet from the Red Skull, and I think you should be rather fine. Get away from here, jump back in again, and don't get sprayed by him. And after that, just tank and spam him a little bit here and there, trying to avoid all this like poison and stuff like that. That is sometimes hurting you quite a fair bit. Again, I popped the thing in the wrong timing, but you could actually time it out yourself quite rather nicely. Now this one in front is the red kind of like red kind of mist there. You try not to get destroyed by that as well. So just be aware of what the ability is. If you have tanky enough, then you can avoid it. If not, then you just try to avoid it. I mean, you can eat it when you're tanky enough, but you can try to avoid it as well. So now, apologize, there's some noise outside. I don't know what happened. There's some construction going on, or some generator getting started. Getting a bit scared. Maybe the power will be off soon. So I hope you get an idea of how the Cosmic Trial is like. By and large, if you have known the mechanic, there's nothing really scary about it, because you just make sure that you have avoid certain kind of mechanic and deal damage as it comes. If you have damage over time spread across, make sure your build is both well in terms of single target as well as area target, and that's fine. Alright, so that's part one of the video on Carnage in the Cosmic Trial. I'm very happy with his performance. Definitely they have made a really strong heroes for this like a new heroes release, which I hope is it's good for him. good for Gazillion because you need to have like some fresh perspective when playing this game. Having a strong heroes always help. Part 2 of this video is about the team up. Now, console version doesn't apply, so you may just stay on, listen about what the whole big deal about team up. And in the future, who knows, it may come to console world. But team up basically is like this guy here. This is the Deadpool team up. And under team up, the kind of heroes, there are quite a lot of team up. And each team up will have their own very specific kind of passive. So now, the first question people ask is that should you use the team up as the passive or not passive? So for example, if you take a look at, say, a good example would be, say, if I look into, just bear with me a moment, I'm looking at okay, so there are quite a number of them. If I look at, okay, let's start with this one, Deadpool Kit. So this is a companion I usually bring across to help me do stuff because there's something called server lag, which kind of freezes the mobs around you for 5 seconds, including the bosses as well, and the area is really big. So I find it really useful, helpful in terms of just crowd controlling a little bit. But I found that the boss sometimes can't be crowd controlled too often, so it has its own merit here and there. Overall, Deadpool Kit has a pretty good area damage and as well as a bit of range and stuff like that. So it's good. If you use it for full passive, it only buff the kind of physical damage by 300 plus other kind of thing. When you're not spending spirit, then you gain spirit, which I don't really need that kind of thing. But what it really means is that when you come with gearing perspective, a couple of things you need to pay attention. Things like when you use a med kit, your team up gain 100% health is important to keep a team up around for long. Sometimes you want to also buff the kind of like team up kind of things like bosses and elite hit by your attack, take 20% more damage from your team up for 10 seconds, which is kind of good as well. Upon enemy defeat, team up gain stacking damage buff or whatnot. Again, is to buff your team up kind of damage. Last but not the least, of course, if you have something that gives that team up a chance to have an invulnerable kind of thing, that's also very nice. So it depends on what gear you have. And also, if you observe the statistic of your team up without a gear, you can't brutal. So usually, you would like to go into some kind of like, if you have any crit and chance and whatnot, is really good. I think those are the ones that you should go for. Brutal Strike is very good as well. Special attack, I find it very useful as well. If you can get those special attack, that's much better than default attack, which is just like a spender. They hardly use because of animation. Then you, if you try to pick a team up for passive, for example. So I've got some team up for passive. Let me see if I can pull out some for you to take a look. I was just looking at my roster right now, kind of like got lost a little bit. Like for example, Falcon is the one that I like to do as a passive because it has a very generic crit kind of like buff as well as damage rating buff. So that becomes something that I could use for the hybrid heroes because hybrid doesn't have a damage type to it. So 240, 120, so that's good stuff. But more so, the gear that I pick, I would like to have things like I want to buff both range and melee. For example, I want to buff all 3 damage type. I want to buff all 3 damage type. I want to buff both melee and range. Why is it so? Because I want this team up to be used for all my heroes with a hybrid setting. I do not want to just restrict it by a certain kind of type. So that is one that I like to go behind the thinking when I gear a team up. That's what I usually pay attention to. So that's a nice team up for for very generic stuff. Like I think this is the one that so for example, Arachin is the one that does mental damage. So if you have a mental hero, usually this is quite a nice one to just do a full mental on that. And of course, whatever gear that you have, then you try to do a mental build up from it if you can. It's like this one mental, and if I can do range and melee, but normally mental heroes are normally range. There are some melee versions as well, like Psylocke, so just give some attention to it. I'm not going to go through all the team up, but I'm just trying to go through the team up that I find it quite useful. Like for example, the plus energy and range is also nice, but now because of the attribute changes, it may not be as useful as before. Previously, you can actually, because a lot of range are energy as well, it can't coincide with the whole thing. But then you try to line it up with the range power whenever you can. So you pick the affixes that benefit you alongside with the passive and use it for passive. When do I use it? I use it for raid, because there's no point bringing out a team up for raid. It looks funny, be a pro. No, I mean, because team up doesn't really do a lot of damage, it may as well buff you as a hero. There are things like rescue. I also find it quite useful as an active team up because she can heal. She does a lot of healing as well. But I find that because the healing is a little bit random and stuff like that, so you have to standing somewhere in the right places. But I also find rescue as a good alternative between Deadpool and rescue, because you may say, I don't like Deadpool all the time. Then you could actually do something like that. Another thing that if you want to look for the attribute itself, like strength hero, then you could consider like Spider-Woman as a strength hero, and after that you could actually gear accordingly as well. So there are a couple of them that I highlight. Now I can't really talk through all. Just check out the marvelheroes.info. I think that has a whole list of all the team up and what they can do, and how they can help you in a certain way. But that's really my take of it. Overall take of team up, is it something that is like totally necessary and whatnot? I think that you can earn quite a few team up. You can earn quite a few team up through the game itself. Like check out my video on how to earn a private Deadpool free team up, which is probably one of the best team up in the whole game, PC wise. There are other team up that you can earn as well, playing along the way, like Howard the Duck is from the event, and there's quite a lot of things that you could actually earn as you level up. I think Agent Carlson is also from the event. Shield Agent is also from the from one of the this one is from the story mode. So there's quite a lot of things that you could actually earn along the way. Like this one is from lock-in bonus, this one is lock-in bonus. So a lot of things you can earn, but do you really need team up? I think that team up are just glorified cosmetic pads, because it's nice to have a follower around. Do they really do a lot of damage? No. Sometimes you check out my video before when I play Danger Room with my hero. If you skip content, the team up will stuck behind somewhere that you cannot unsummon and resummon again. It's just kind of annoying when you need the team up for a boss fight. It's not there. And also team up tend to be really stupid. Just stand right in front of Rhino or Juggernaut, just charge and die. There's nothing you can do. I mean, you could time your mech kit, like try to save him and kind of thing, but it just doesn't work that way. So it's one of those things rather unfortunate. If team up were a little bit smarter, avoiding things, or if team up has like Diablo 3 kind of setup, say follower cannot die. It's one of the gear fixes is follower cannot die, but they don't have that kind of like setup here. So it's just one of the things unfortunate to me. So whether you feel the same or not is depending on you. Some people swear by team up. I've seen enough that even though I pop mech kit on cooldown, means that maximum amount of like healing to my team up in a very consistent manner, they still die in certain content. It depends on how much the hero kind of take damage, because if you take a look at all the team up that you have, it transfer the damage, 5% or incoming damage transfer to your team up. So if you are playing a rather fragile heroes that tend to eat a lot of damage, those things transfer to your team up as well. It may end up killing your team up anyhow. So I hope that is useful, and thanks for requesting for all this video and question that you have. I may continue with the Carnage video on how to further farm the things, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, I do play this game from time to time, especially when there's a request. So I thank you very much for following my series on the Let's Play Carnage. I hope you have enough fun playing this game, and to my friends in console world, I mean, my apologies if I cannot fit all the content to your side. A lot of you ask me if I'm going to play console. Well, the answer is that because the accounts between the console and the PC are not linked and they are not transferable between the two, it is really no point for me to invest the amount of time and money into the console game, because after all, this game is really pay to play, if you think about it that way. All right, see you next time. Goodbye.